Hello everyone, this is Dr. Sam. Today I'm going to move on to the next mental health topic called disturbing emotions. This is a very important topic because I think it is relevant to almost everyone, including myself. And being aware of our own disturbing emotions is very important in maintaining our sanity. Before I proceed, please kindly review my disclaimer as usual. This is the content page of today's presentation. There are two parts to it. The first part is about emotional awareness, and the second part is about disturbing emotions. Under disturbing emotions, we have got four different sections. Section number one is regarding emotions about low self and low self-esteem. I will explain later why I put it as a low self and low self-esteem separately. And section number two, under disturbing emotion, is about emotion regarding situations and circumstances. And number three, it is about destructive emotions towards other people. Lastly, is about emotions about the ego self. Now let's begin. The first section, the first part of this presentation is about emotional awareness. The first step to control our emotion is to become aware of it. In medical term, if you speak to any psychiatrist or any psychologist, they call it insight. The technical or medical term for it is called insight. Do you have an awareness of what is wrong? That is an insight. So the first step to control our emotion is to have an insight or to become aware about it. Emotional awareness involves two basic abilities. The first ability is the ability to recognize our moment-to-moment emotion experience and the associated ability to handle our emotions without becoming overwhelmed. This is the first ability, okay, as part of emotional awareness. And this is an ongoing process. We must maintain our emotional awareness and control the same way that we would maintain our garden, our bedroom, and our study room. Okay? This is an ongoing process that requires constant maintenance. The second part of emotional awareness is emotional awareness that allows us to understand what others are feeling and to empathize with them. And this will not be discussed in this presentation. Only part one of emotional awareness will be discussed in this presentation. And part one again is the ability of is our ability to recognize our own moment-to-moment emotion experience and the ability to handle our own emotion without being overwhelmed. So this is the first part of our presentation. I am a science person. So when I went through high school, I did physics. Okay, and part of the physics learning, I learned something called the law of entropy, which has impressed upon me since then. The law of entropy, to those of you who might think that it sounds a bit technical, just bear with me. I will explain very soon. Okay, the law of entropy, also known as the second law of thermodynamics. The second law of thermodynamics. It states that as time passes, okay, the net entropy is just a fancy term. It's just a fancy term to mean the degree of disorderliness or the messiness. Okay, so the net degree of disorderliness or messiness of any isolated or closed system will always increase or at least stay the same. Okay? So this is the law of entropy. It impressed upon me since high school. As time goes forward, as one goes forward in time, the net degree of disorderliness or messiness will always increase or at least stay the same. I think for most and almost all of us, the net disorderliness and messiness will always increase unless we do something to maintain the orderliness. And this is really relevant to our mental health. Just imagine, okay, looking at your garden, your bedroom, and your study room. Okay? You have to tidy your garden, your bedroom, and your study room every day in order to make sure that they are neat and nice and beautiful. If you don't do that, over time, your garden will become messy, your bedroom will become messy, and your study room will become super messy. This is a very common phenomenon. And the same applies to your emotional well-being. We have to tidy up our mind, okay, which sits in our brain, which sits in our head. Okay? And this is called emotional awareness and control. It is an ongoing, lifelong tidy up process that a lot of people neglect to do. And therefore leading to frequent occurrence of disturbing emotions, which is the next part of this presentation. Okay, and as said earlier, there are 4 sub-headings. Okay, we will go through this heading one by one. Before we go through the headings, we will define what is a disturbing emotion. A disturbing emotion is defined as a state of mind that when we develop it, causes us to lose our peace of mind. Number one. Number two, to cloud our clarity of thinking or feelings. Number three, to lose our ability to reason properly. And number four, to lose self-control. Again, I just want to reinforce the definition. A disturbing emotion is a state of mind that, if we develop, will cause us to 1. Lose our peace of mind. 2. To cloud our clarity, thinking or feeling. 3. To lose our ability to reason. And number 4, to lose self-control. Okay? So this is a very powerful emotion called disturbing emotion. As a result of a disturbing emotion, we can no longer, at that moment, discriminate between what is appropriate, what is inappropriate, what is obviously right, what is obviously wrong, and what is real, what is not real, what is helpful, what is not helpful, and finally, what is constructive and what is destructive. That is how powerful disturbing emotions can impact us. Okay, at that moment, if we allow ourselves to be affected by the disturbing emotion. And disturbing emotions are not steady states of mind or stable emotional states. They are not good. They are not stable. As a result, we say or do things that we later regret, and will cause further problem. We will now go through each of the subheading under disturbing emotion. The first heading is called emotions about the low self and low esteem. As you can see, I split the self-esteem up into low self and low esteem, because there are indeed 2 parts to this. One is you think low about yourself. The other part is you have no or minimum respect for yourself. Okay, and you think lowly of yourself. Okay, if you feel that you are low in achievement, you feel disappointment in yourself, you feel that you are a failure, you feel that you are inadequate in any area. Okay, so these are examples of disturbing emotion about low self. The next part is low in worth, which is the esteem part. You feel guilty, you feel embarrassed about yourself, you feel shameful about yourself, you feel rejected about yourself. Nobody wants you. You're rejected. Okay, So low self and low esteem under emotions about low self and low esteem. And the last part of this is low in purpose. You feel that you are somebody with no purpose. You feel empty, you feel lonely, you feel sad, you feel depressed. So these are all disturbing emotions about low self. Feel low about yourself, pretty low, and low esteem, which means low respect for yourself. And if you have any of these disturbing emotion, you have to stop. Okay? You have to stop them because they are not helpful. The second subheading of disturbing emotion is called emotions about situations and circumstances. You see, nobody goes through life without problem. I have lots of problem myself. I think I have lots of problem, many problems. Okay, and people feel frustrated, feel impatient, feel overwhelmed, feel stressed, feel worried. Nobody goes through life without feeling any of these emotional experience. Again, frustrations, impatience, okay, being overwhelmed, stressed, and worried. Almost everybody goes through this, including me. And including all psychiatrists or psychologists on this earth. Okay? And other emotions that are disturbing under this category are feeling helpless, hopeless, vulnerable, insecure, fearful, unfair, injustice. These are all unhelpful, disturbing emotions under emotions about situation and circumstances. When you realize that you have been feeling these emotions on a regular basis, or your mind is preoccupied with these emotions on a regular basis, you also need to stop yourself because these are not helpful emotions. It leads to nowhere. And number 3 is disturbing emotions. Okay? That are destructive emotions towards others. Examples include anger, grudge, resentment, hate. As you can see here, I put the picture of flame. Okay, they are flame that if not controlled, will be out of control and cause further damage. Okay, the other subgroup include animosity, ill feeling, dislike, being critical. So in our society today, in Australia, there is very, very minimum talk about what I call self-cultivation. We have created and produced a legal society that is full of complaint. Okay, complaint system put in place to complain one another. Okay, in the name of improving the standard of the system. However, okay, a byproduct, an undesired product of this system is that people become very complainsome, which is, in my opinion, is not very healthy either. Okay? And the last part of destructive emotions towards others is the following 3: jealousy, evil intention, and harm intention towards other people, wishing other people's harm. These are very bad emotions. Okay? So if you realize that you have any of these emotional feeling on a regular basis in this slide, you also have to stop yourself. Because they are leading to no good outcome for you or for anyone. And lastly, we have got the disturbing emotion, okay, about the ego self. Disturbing emotion about the ego self. As the name implies, it's about the ego of the person. Some people walks around with excessive pride and ego, thinking that they are superior and important. Okay? And these are not good. Excessive pride and arrogance, okay, are 2 risk factors for being hurt and also risk factor for failures. And number 3, okay, disturbing emotion about the ego self is greed. It's also a risk factor for disaster. You can be, a person with ambition. You can be a person with aspiration, with big goals, But to be greedy is a different story. Okay? It can be a big risk factor for disaster. And lastly, under this category is selfishness. If you only think about yourself, it is all about me. It's a major risk for self-isolation from others. And when you are very selfish, when you have got problem, nobody will come to your help. Okay? Okay. So in summary, okay, I have discussed about emotional awareness. And emotional awareness is like tidying up your room. It is a lifelong process. It is also like showering every day to keep yourself clean. You cannot expect to shower yourself today and then don't shower for the next 1 year and expect it to be clean, next year. It's not possible. In the same way, you cannot expect to breathe today and then stop breathing tomorrow and expect to be alive tomorrow. Not possible. You have to keep breathing every day to be alive every day. In the same way, you have to be, practicing emotional awareness lifelong to tidy up the mind and to maintain a healthy psychology. And secondly, okay, to be aware of disturbing emotions, which falls under 4 categories. Emotions about the low self and low esteem, which is number 1. And number 2, disturbing emotions about situation and circumstances. Number 3, destructive emotions towards others. And number 4, emotions about the ego self. It is very easy in theory to say that you should be aware and you should be able to control these emotions. But I can tell you it's not easy in practice and in real life. It takes a lot of discipline, a lot of self-cultivation to be good in these things. And this is one thing that our modern society is lacking is self-cultivation. And always blaming the external force for the internal experience that we have. Therefore, I am a proponent of self-cultivation and complain less. And the next step is to understand that all emotional experiences that are disturbing are invariably associated with a feeling of nervousness, uneasiness, and not feeling relaxed. When we are about to say something or when we are about to do something, it is an emotional experience. Therefore, we feel nervous, uneasy, and not relaxed. Therefore, the trick is to identify and catch these symptoms and signs as soon as they appear. Okay? As soon as we recognize that we are under the influence of a disturbing emotion, attitude, or state of mind, the next step is to stop it and to replace it with a non-disturbing emotion. And this will be covered in subsequent videos. Okay, I hope that this video has been interesting for you guys who are interested in upgrading your mental health, as well as learning the skills to maintaining a more balanced mindset. Thank you very much for watching my video. And I also would like to take this time to acknowledge the following resources where I put my presentation together. These resources where I get my pictures from. Thank you very much. If you like my video, please kindly subscribe and share. Well wishes again. Stay safe, stay healthy. Take care. Bye-bye.